Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. Rusty and Heather Bryant, and we are right smack dab in the middle of summer, and that means summer shorts.
Summer. Wait a minute. We're not snap dab in the middle of summer. I literally just had my last day of school on Friday.
This is our third summer shorts episode.
Summer shorts do 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 do. Summer shorts do 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 do. Summer shorts do 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 do. Summer shorts. Hey, that was pretty good. I liked it.
Thought I'd add a little harmony in there.
But this is our third summer short, but it is literally just May something.
Just now starting summer for you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Man, there was something that I was going to tell our listeners, and I really don't. Oh, I know what it is now. We, first of all, welcome if you're a new listener, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for exploring our podcast and social media. We have a lot of new people, especially on social media, so welcome. We also have gotten quite a few emails, Facebook messages, lots of things recently.
About coaching.
And I'm just going to tell you, we have not responded to you. And so
We're sorry.
If you're one of those people, or if you're somebody that has reached out, if you're just somebody that's reached out to us recently and we have not responded, we've seen them. We just haven't had time to respond. And so that's just kind of where we are right now in life. It doesn't mean that we don't care about you and we don't love you, and we're going to get to it. Now that Heather is done with school, maybe she could jump in and answer some questions.
We've been
stuff.
a little busy. And you know what? I think you look a little different today. You look like a new father-in-law.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you look really tired.
You don't.
For our season of life, it feels that way, sort of.
You don't look tired.
Okay. Well.
But you do look like a new father-in-law.
Okay.
That looks good on you.
Okay. Well,
we have a new daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Officially.
We do. We got married kids, so we're not old, though.
No. But one of our kids totally got hitched. I looked over in church this morning and saw his ring on his finger, and I was like, that's just weird.
That's what I know. I dropped him off at his house last night.
Oh.
That was weird, too. I drove up because I had to take, because they only have one car right now. Yeah. The other one's in the shop. And so I drove him from the stadium, and it was like, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, good night.
It's weird.
You're going in there with a woman. That's weird.
And, so they were coming home from their honeymoon on Friday, and although this is the worst, it still, God so protected them because they were about 10 minutes from home. And his car started doing something weird, and we're praying it's not the transmission. But he was like, Mom, my car, it won't go. It'll only go 20 miles per hour. And I said, well, just get here as, safely as you can. So they got here, and I went and picked them up at the car shop, and we'll find out on Tuesday what that is. And I was like, that's a great way to start off the newlywed life.
Prayers appreciated. We just pay for a wedding. We really don't need to help out with a car.
I know, but I mean, like, I can just hear people going, oh, they're married now. It's their responsibility. But what if they started out their new life with, I'm sorry, you need a new transmission.
Oh, I know. Oh, well.
That would be terrible.
Life comes at you hard and fast. And we're going to come at you hard and fast and answer a question today. So this question is from a listener, and you can read it to us.
Okay. It says, how does one overcome the stigma of, quote, once a cheater, always a cheater, that the world seems to believe?
Let me jump in here, first of all, and say that in our circle of, like, our culture that we live in, like me and you, the community and stuff, we don't hear that a lot as far as just like I don't know that people, if they believe it, they don't say it.
Or they don't say it around us.
Well, maybe that's it. But we do hear it all the time on social media. Because people, I mean, we can throw our story out there, and people are so quick to come back and basically, I mean, we have people that sometimes are like, we call BS. I mean, they'll actually say that. Like, that's the quote.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that, but
Sure.
that's what people will quote, and they'll say, "Once a cheater, always a cheater." And I mean, we get that a lot, and especially it feels like when we have a social media post that goes viral, that's the like it just starts steamrolling,
Yeah.
and people are just like, "Oh, it's not real," and once a cheater, always a cheater. I would never, that kind of thing. And so, but I know that you've heard that before. And so I think the question is obviously it's directed at you.
Sure.
Like, how do you overcome that? Because there are people out there that I'm sure that they have betrayed. There's been betrayal, and now it's just, oh, well, it's just going to happen again.
Yeah.
Once you do it, you're going to do it again.
Well, I have lots of thoughts on this question, and they're in no particular order. So feel free to, jump in anytime you want. But the first thing that I thought of is how thankful I am that you don't believe that. Because if I had to spend my whole life trying to convince you that I wasn't going to do that again, it would be a miserable marriage. But I 100% know and believe that you don't feel that way. And so I'm thankful for that. The second thing that I thought about is how grateful I am to be surrounded by people who believe in the same God that I do and in his redemption. There is no one that is listening to my voice that doesn't need restoration and redemption from something. And, there's lots of people lots of different sins that people live with, but I know that God is big enough for even my sin. And I know that I'm redeemed and restored. And I choose to surround myself with people who believe that same thing. You can just see on people's faces when they have experienced the forgiveness of God, and they are like, yeah, I get it. I mean, I may not have committed adultery, but I, deal with selfishness or pride or, whatever it is that they have an issue with, that their bent is towards. And so I've surrounded myself with people who are so grace-filled and are just in awe of the same God that I am. And so that's who I choose to surround myself with. Now, do I come into contact with people who don't believe the same way I do? Absolutely. Do they come at us on social media? Absolutely. And honestly, this is the hardest part for me. Most of our friends, our heart friends, our people that are our people. I mean, I say that loosely, but you know what I mean. The people who love us and support us. Most of them have come into our lives post-affair because we had to start over. I mean, we lost friendships. We lost people that I thought we would never lose because of our story. And it was gut-wrenching, but God has redeemed and restored by blessing us with friends that just love us well, even if. It's just like what you talked about last week, the difference between covenant and a contract is they love us well. I mean, they loved us even though. But I also think it's a bit easier because they're seeing the redeemed version of us. They didn't have to walk through that hard version. But there's still people that we come into contact with that I would say are from this is a strong word, but from our past, from our first 15 years of marriage. And I can literally feel the stares and a little bit of judgment still from some people that I don't think will ever look at me any differently than someone who had an affair. I genuinely believe that. And that's heartbreaking, and it's hard. I don't choose to be around those people because it's hard. It's hard to be around those people. And, anybody can say, oh, just don't listen to them, especially the randos on social media that comment, don't don't listen to them, but it still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts because it's like, you don't know me. Like, you're saying, oh, well, if you cheated once, you'll cheat again. I'm sorry, but you don't know me and you don't know my heart. And I want to take you to coffee so that you can know my heart. And, my best friend tells me all the time, hey, that's not about your heart. That's about theirs. Like, if they're saying that about you, that's about their heart, not yours. And I know that. And I know that truth. But I am human and it hurts. But you can't convince somebody of that. So all of that, in saying all of that, and you can jump in when you want to, but I just had to get to the point to where I knew that the answer to that question lies in who I believe that I am and who I know I am because of what Christ did on the cross. I know that I'm forgiven. I know that I'm redeemed. I know that I'm restored. And I know that I will not do that again. Like, I am so in love with Jesus and so in love with you that thinking about even stepping over any kind of line of our covenant is heartbreaking to me. And I can look back and see who I was back then, and it's just mind-blowing that I used to be that way and that I made the decisions that I made, because I can't fathom it at this point in my life. So, I tried to think about, when I read the question, I was like, you have so many people who deal maybe with alcoholism, and they say, you're always an alcoholic. That's
right.
the title, and you're just always battling that and always staying away from it. And, we know personally people who have walked that journey, and alcohol is repulsive to them and they have no desire for it. And God's taken that desire away from them. And that's kind of how I feel. It's like, yes, I was an adulterer, but I don't wear that title anymore. And I don't, it's not who I am. It's not who I'm labeled. And it honestly breaks my heart. It makes me sad for people who believe that statement is truth, that once a cheater, always a cheater. It makes me sad because I want to say, who hurt you so bad that you don't believe in redemption and restoration and a new start? Like, what is it in you that has been hurt so badly that you can't fathom that somebody can be different? So I just, does it hurt? Yes. Do I want to say, oh, just ignore it? It's hard to ignore. But if you're out there and you're one of those people who believe that statement, I'm sorry, you're wrong. If you know the person and if you knew my heart, you could see that that's not the case. But for those of you who have been the adulterer and people say that about you, like, I wish I could say, oh, just ignore it. But it doesn't work that way. But that's when you have to take that thought captive and lay truth completely over it and who you are, and just you can't let it settle in your spirit, what they say.
I wonder if all of our listeners, if they took just a second and thought of that one thing, their biggest regret, the worst thing that they've ever done, and maybe nobody even knows what it is, but just that worst thing that you've ever done, and everybody has something that they can go back and go, gosh, I wish I had never done that.
Or said that.
Yeah. And aren't you glad that that's not your identity, that that's not your label? I mean, like all of us, if you think back to that worst thing, and what if the world and everybody just said, well, once you did that, you'll always do. You'll do it again. You'll do it again. And it's not fair. It's not fair to say that about anybody, because we know what God can do to change a life and can change a story. And, maybe we're picking a little bit on the people that come at us and other people on social media. And just like what you said, our response sometimes is, I wish we could sit down with those people and just go, hey, why don't you get to know us? Because we are a real story. And somebody has obviously hurt you in such a way that you can't even believe that about other people. And we choose to not engage. You said people just say, just ignore it. And we're not ignoring it because, well, you don't get on there and read them very often. Sometimes I'll read them, and if they're really, really distasteful and ugly, I'll delete them so you don't get to see them. But most of the time I leave them up there, but I don't respond to them because you guys know if somebody has the guts to say that kind of stuff on social media,
they'll say anything.
Yeah, and there's not going to be any kind of convincing.
Right.
But I do love the people, and I'm not saying we're not going to say anything, but hey, you can if you want to.
But it's so funny when they do.
Oh my goodness, it's so great when people, and especially when it's people that genuinely know us, or we've done coaching with them, or they've been to a retreat and we recognize their name and they come at them and just are like, you don't know these people. We know these people. And I'm just like, go get them. But that is not, and I'm saying there is a way to do that though in love. And especially when you can say, hey, you can't say that about somebody that you don't even know. And when there is a real picture of redemption, why don't we just celebrate that?
Right.
Why can't we just celebrate that and celebrate what God's done? And there's so many of you that are listeners that you have that same story.
Yeah.
And I love it when you go, hey, it's not just Rusty
them.
and Heather
That's right.
that are out there putting their story out there. And those are the kind of, just over and over and over, we see that when people go, yes, that's my story too. That's my story too. And I love hearing that. And I love hearing it from masses of people that can just say, yeah, that's not true. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Nope, not the case.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we just want to encourage those of you that feel that from the world sometime, because that's not who you are and that's not your identity. And your identity is that you've been restored, redeemed. Your life, your marriage, it's been resurrected. And so celebrate that and just enjoy the fact that God has taken that label away from you. And you don't have to take that label from anybody. You don't have to believe that about yourself.
Yep. And if you're one of those people who thinks that and believes that, hear my heart in that our God is way bigger than you think that he is, because he can take that. He can take that away, and someone really can be restored and redeemed and not have any kind of desire towards that lifestyle anymore. It can completely be redeemed.
I actually think that so much of that statement boils down to trust. And the people that say it, they can't trust people. And so they have to, it's hard for them to put into words, well, I don't trust you. If you've betrayed me once, you're going to betray me again. And, but labeling somebody as that just because you won't trust them.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people out there that now they are trustworthy and they're becoming trustworthy. But there's people on my side of things that are like, yeah, but even though you are trustworthy now, I'm not going to allow myself to trust you because I don't want to get hurt again. And so then I could label you as, well, you've cheated once, so you're going to do it again. And that's just because I'm expecting, because you hurt me before, you'll hurt me again. And so I'm not going to allow myself to be hurt again. And then that's where you look at it and you go, well, that's on me. That's right. Not on you. And so, just having the ability and willingness to say, okay, I'm going to lean into trusting you. Look, it's not my job to trust you. We say this quite often, but it's your job to become trustworthy. But if if who you are now is trustworthy, then it falls back on me to be willing to trust you again.
Yep.
And we're not saying that happens overnight. I mean, and for us, we even said, some of y'all go, how long does it take? And we throw out 2 years for us. Everybody's story is different. But for us, it was a solid 2 years after confession that there was just still a lot of mistrust.
Sure.
And it wasn't because you weren't being trustworthy. You were being trustworthy, or you were gaining. But like we also say, trust is gained in drops and it's lost in buckets.
Yep.
And so, well, we hope that this is encouraging to those of you that may feel this way from the world, and don't listen to the world. Listen to what God says about you.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.